Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the Hot Wheels Premium Formula 1 set. I will admit, pretty stoked about these. I really am. Even though we've got some really good F1 options out there in Premium already, Hot Wheels joining the fray on this I don't think is a bad idea. I think this is going to be pretty cool, and I hope it lasts. And these do, like from the outside here, look very, very nice. Now, I have no idea. I haven't opened any of these up yet, so I'm not sure. So these are 3 cars in this like first wave, I think, that have come out and started to hit stores. These have started to show up at Targets. I got these from SC Diecast, so definitely check them out. I think they still have some sets available. SC Diecast, you can find them on Facebook. I think that's the easiest way to get a hold of them. But cool people, like supporting them, and they do me some favors sometimes here on the channel as well. So really, really neat. So let's get into these. I really am eager to check them out. I think we're going to do the Red Bull one last because, well, maybe we won't. Let's do this real quick. Let's scoot one of those by. This is a mini GT, okay? So that's what they're kind of up against, even though it's likely very unfair. These F1 cars are like $7, I think, something like that. I can't remember exactly. They might be $7.99. They might be $8, I think, at Target, something like that. So retail, that's what you're looking at for the premium cars. They're not much different than the premium other Hot Wheels, like Car Culture, that kind of thing. But they look to have a lot more detail. So this is a mini GT, and oddly enough, as far as mini GTs go, typically the racing livery ones cost a little bit more than a regular car without without racing stuff going on. Why is that? Probably maybe licensing might have something to do with it. There's more licenses maybe you need. I really don't know the ins and outs, but these typically cost a little bit more than a standard mini GT. So you're probably looking at, let's just say $17.99, maybe something like that. Somewhere between $15 and $18 for these. So we're already looking at, double the cost at least of one of these Hot Wheels. So that's what we got to keep in mind when we're looking at this. And then the other thing we have too is a similar item. This is a Tarmac Works. So this is I don't know if this is actually an F1 car, if this is a F whatever 3 car or something like that. It's no, it's an F1. Yeah. And you guys should know that as much as I love these things, I'm a little bit ignorant when it comes to some of the racing stuff, even though I absolutely love the diecast. Kind of weird, right? But that is it. So this is a Mercedes AMG F1 W13E Performance, and I'm guessing that this casting was probably developed by IXO. I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, that's probably what it is. And somebody will correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it's nice. It's nice. The Mini GT is really nice. This is pretty nice. They're both nice. I mean, there's nothing really to complain about with either one of them. I'm just looking at graphics here up close to try to figure out what style graphics we got. So these look to be like printed on type of thing. It doesn't look like it's a water slide or anything goofy like that. This one actually has the antennas and stuff up there, a little glob of glue extra. I mean, that'll happen. Very intricately detailed. And then, of course, the Mini GT as well is very intricately detailed. This one actually is complete with a racing driver. And I apologize, but again, I don't know who the racing driver is, but he would have been named on the packaging. The one thing I don't like about Mini GT is they really don't have much data on the base of the car. I wish they had a little bit more. The base of the Mini GT is plastic, and I believe it's the same. Yeah, this is plastic too. So base is plastic. The most of the vehicle, well, the body of the vehicle is metal, and then a bunch of other plastic pieces, stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how these compare. These Hot Wheels are going to compare to these two, which are, I guess you could call it gold standard for 1/64 scale F1 cars right now, which would be mainly Mini GT and Tarmac Works, which IXO. Who else has come out with them? Sparky, I think, has come out with some F1 stuff too. There might be some other stuff out there, but that's basically, what we're talking about when we talk about competing. Now, the packaging for these F1 cars looks to be pretty nice. You got your standard card size that you would for car culture. I don't know if these would fit in the car culture type Protectos, being that this base sticks out a lot more than a normal car culture car. Card art itself looks really good. Formula 1 2024. I don't know that they should have put the year on here, because I think people are going to look at that and just think, oh man, the car's from 2024, the series is from 2024. I might think it's old. You know, as if a year ago is old. But you get what I'm saying there? Some people might think that. So let's pull the car. Immediately, and I don't know if it's the plastic base, but I'm definitely noticing the weight of the car. So there is one thing that's going to upset me about these, and I already see it. And you guys may know what I'm going to be talking about. What am I going to be talking about? Now, we talked about water slide decals. Yeah, you're right. I'm talking about the dot matrix graphics. We're going to see how bad it is on these models. So these are screwed down to the base, something a little bit new. The only thing I don't like, so the Tarmac Works, I believe this came with a box with a blister that you could store this in. This definitely did, because it's a mini GT and all of them do. So you basically can put it in a little blister, store it in a box, and it's perfectly protected. It's a great way to store your collection. So they offer that solution right there for you. The thing that irritates me about this, and there's some Sparky models like this as well, where you just have a base and a screw, and that'll get you there with that on there, but nothing to cover it and nothing to really stack and store these. No acrylic cover. So that's a little bit disappointing, if I'm honest. You know, either just don't, what's the point of even including this if you're not going to include the cover over the top? To me, and that's just how I feel, and you guys could feel totally different. But BWT Alpine F1 Team A524, and let's take a look at it and check it out. So yeah, immediately, and I noticed the weight of the thing, and the core of the base, like the centerpiece of it, is metal, and this thing is riveted together, made in Thailand. We have some data on the bottom there. The front wing, I believe this is also metal. So there's a lot more metal in this whole situation than it is with the either of the two behind you there. Now, where, like I said, where this is going to probably get a little irritating to me is when it gets to the graphics. And see, there you go. We've got dot matrixy looking low resolution printing. Looks okay from afar like that, but my eyes are still good enough to see it at like a half of an arm's length. So yeah, it does irritate me. I'm gonna admit it. Now, the other different thing too is these have free, you know, normal type axle construction, I guess, for Hot Wheels, where each wheel spins independent of the other one, whereas these are going to have a fixed axle. So the one thing that's cool about the fixed axles, you do not see the axle end like you do here. So that makes them more Hot Wheels-ish, having that axle end showing instead of having a fixed axle like you would. The axle actually rotates with the wheel, not the wheel rotating around the axle, if that makes sense. That probably makes these roll a lot better, which is a Hot Wheels, you know, they got to be able to roll, obviously. But in all honesty, all these roll pretty good. So overall, I mean, there's a lot of detail here. It looks good. I'm not really, like I said, the only thing that sort of would irritate me is the whole, well, it's just that the graphics, that's it. Other than that, I think this thing looks fantastic, and it's way more robust. It's going to be way less fragile than any of these two. So way less fragile. I mean, you could drop this thing, and I don't think anything would happen, but maybe chipping the paint. It's not going to break apart. It is much more robust. Whereas these might have a little bit more detail, but they are quite a bit more fragile. But overall, I think this thing's really nice. Let's open another one. Let's do the MoneyGram Haas F1 Team VF-24. It'd be interesting to see if these are different toolings too, because I know there are slight differences, or at least I believe there are, between the cars. They're not all exactly the same, even though they look very similar. As far as the tooling goes, are they going to be different, or are they all on the same kind of tooling? One thing we got to look at too, don't let me forget, here's scale. And we'll get to that when we get to the Red Bull one. That's going to be the closest looking one. It appears that there are definitely different toolings, it looks like. Yep, there are. So that's great. They're not using a generic tooling for every single model. So this part is different than that part. Yeah, it's actually all different. So that is all. So it's hard to see it. Like they all, I mean, obviously they look similar, but they are different. They're different toolings. And that's really cool. I'm glad that at least that is there. This one, the graphics look a little better on this one, and that's because of the color scheme. So no issues with that one. This one's actually, I think, nice. I think this one looks a little bit better than the BWT one. Again, it rolls really well, and yeah, I quite like it. You know, value for money, these are really good, I think. I think they really did do a great job on these. You know, in spite of the dot matrix graphics, and I know that's the thing. I mean, that's what they're using. That's what they're using for premium models. I think it's unfortunate, but that's what they're doing, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon, but who knows. Lastly, we got the Red Bull Oracle Red Bull Racing RB20. I don't know how close the car is to this particular car, but it's obviously going to be the closest thing we're going to have here. And again, we'll take that screw out of the bottom. There is some legalese in the base of these, by the way. Check that out, some more trademark info, stuff like that. The cool thing about Mini GT2 and the Tarmac Works is they're actually going to be like specific races, like whatever the livery was for a specific race, and they'll even name a racer, name a race car driver, which is really cool. That you're not going to get with Hot Wheels, but again, you know, is that really a big deal? Probably not. But this model is pretty much very close to identical in livery. This is 11, this is number 1. But very, very close. And again, this top portion is different yet again. So this is another different tooling. And it's actually different than this car altogether. So from different races, whatever. Now that I'm looking at it. But we can still get an idea of scale. And the scale of these is right on 1/64 scale. For sure. That's pretty much undeniable. All these line up. So that is very encouraging to see that they're actually 1/64 scale. I really like that fact. So really, when you're setting up a grid and stuff, and you want to do a little display option, there's not much. I mean, it's not that easy to tell the difference between the two at a distance. Up front, you can definitely tell that the Mini GT is more detailed. Again, there's more plastic, fragile little pieces, and that allows it to have more detail, but then again, maybe less little play value. But I'm impressed with these. I will say that. I'm impressed with them. I think these are good. Great move from Mattel to get these put out. The mainline F1 cars are pretty cool too, right? I mean, they're pretty cool. They're basic dollar cars, but I didn't grab one out here, but we might as well grab one. I think I've got one close, hopefully. And yeah, I got one here. Let's grab it real quick. So here's the mainline cars. I mean, it's a mainline, right? So it's not going to be they got to make it for ages 3 up. Okay, so there really can't be any small parts or anything like that that could come off. Stuff like that. So for what this is fantastic. It's a really cool mainline car. And all of those are really, really cool. I'll probably get every single one of these that comes out. Let's be honest. I'm going to have a whole grid of these things. I will. I'm not going to get every single one of the Mini GT, on the other hand, because why? Well, because they're way more expensive. That's why. So these, at a value, fantastic value. All good, fantastic value. That'd be hard to disagree with, I think. So, very premium looking, very, very nice. Very proud of you, Mattel. Good job on this series. That's an A-OK from me. All right. This will be in the Hot Wheels Premium playlist? I don't know. I'll put it somewhere. Take a look at that. More premium content. As these come out, I'll probably show more of them. Why not? I'll definitely be picking all of them up. So, undeniably cool, I think. Let me know what your opinion is, you know. Compare these to those, and really, is the more money worth it for that one, or is this just fine? Like, and if you're an F1 collector, you know, maybe you want both. Maybe that one's a little more accurate, yada, 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 but pretty darn good. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have yourself a great day.